In a region once carved up by colonial rulers and held hostage by foreign interests, a quiet revolution is roaring to life. It's not being broadcast on Western news channels or debated in United Nations halls. No, this revolution is unfolding. In the Sahel, fierce, unapologetic and forged by fire, three nations, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, long treated as pawns on a geopolitical chessboard, have risen from the ashes of betrayal and broken promises. In the face of sanctions, isolation and media smears, they've chosen not just survival but sovereignty, not just resistance but rebirth. And now, in a move that could redefine diplomacy in West Africa forever, they've declared, "We speak as one, or not at all." This isn't just another regional alliance. This is a line drawn in the Sahelian sand, a defiant answer to centuries of exploitation, division, and manipulation. It is the Confederation of the Sahel States, and it has one clear message for the world. The age of divide and conquer is over. Together, they have formed the Confederation of the Sahel States, AES, a bold and radical reimagining of African unity. But this isn't just a ceremonial pact or diplomatic photo op. It's a revolutionary covenant sealed with shared suffering and a burning desire for self-determination. And with one resounding declaration, they've shaken the foundations of regional diplomacy. If you wish to speak to one of us, you will speak to all of us. We are no longer three, we are one. Gone are the days when foreign powers or regional blocs could isolate a single state to apply pressure or strike secret deals. Gone is the illusion of brotherhood within organizations still beholden to Western capitals. And gone is the fear that once kept these nations divided. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of the global village, welcome. If you've ever found yourself asking what's really happening in West Africa, what's shifting beneath the surface of colonial frameworks, neo-colonial pacts, and centuries of foreign interference, then pull up a chair. Because today, you're about to witness a new chapter unfolding in real time. One that involves courage, sovereignty, unity and defiance. We will be talking about Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, three proud nations that have decided the era of fragmented diplomacy is over. From this day forward, if you want to deal with one of them, you will deal with all of them. No more whispering behind closed doors. No more backroom deals with one while ignoring the others. They have declared, talk to one, talk to all. Welcome to the Confederation of Sahel States, a bold, self-fashioned alliance refusing to be broken, divided, or bribed. This isn't just symbolism. This is structure, strategy, and solidarity in motion. How did we get here? To understand the gravity of this shift, you need a little background. So let's rewind the clock. Once upon a time, these three nations were part of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, a regional bloc established with the vision of economic cooperation, open borders and regional solidarity among 15 West African countries. On paper, it sounded ideal. No more visas to move between countries, joint infrastructure projects, conflict mediation mechanisms, everything a post-colonial region could hope for. But in practice, that dream was diluted, corrupted even. The unity ECO was promised began to look like an illusion. Corruption, selective justice, and an unhealthy dependence on Western powers turned the community into a playground for foreign interests. The final straw came when ECOWAS attempted something unthinkable. It tried to forcefully reinstall a toppled president, Mohamed Bazoum of Niger, by military intervention. Yes, you read that right. Niger's people overthrew their president. They said, no more puppets, and ECOWAS Instead of listening to the will of the people, it threatened to invade. Let that sink in. 3 nations said, if this is your version of democracy, count us out. And just like that, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger walked out of ECOWAS and into the embrace of one another. Birth of a confederation. In January 2024, the Confederation of Sahel States, Alliance des États du Sahel, AES, was born. A historic, defiant move. But this wasn't just a political divorce from ECOWAS. It was a marriage between 3 revolutionary nations who had each undergone military transitions after ousting Western-backed leaders. They were branded juntas by the international press. But what many saw as coups, the people of the Sahel saw as liberation. Now, under the leadership of President Assimi Goïta of Mali, the rotating head of the Confederation, these nations have started to synchronize policies, military operations, economic cooperation, and foreign diplomacy. From now on, the world must address them as a bloc at one-voice policy. No more divide and conquer. This week marked a pivotal moment. The foreign ministers of the 3 countries, Abdoulaye Diop of Mali, Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré of Burkina Faso, and Bakary Yaw Sangaré of Niger, presented a unified declaration. No more bilateral discussions, they announced. If you want to speak to one of us, all 3 must be at the table. This means that whether you're France seeking uranium from Niger, or Germany eyeing gold mining rights in Mali, or the IMF proposing economic terms for Burkina Faso, you will be speaking to the Confederation, not an individual state. Why is this so revolutionary? Because the oldest colonial tactic has always been divide and rule. Get one country to agree to something that weakens the region as a whole. Exploit their desperation, debt, or instability. But with this new tri-nation policy, that strategy is obsolete. You can't manipulate one when the other 2 are watching. You can't make secret deals when there are 3 minds in the room. You can't buy off leadership when the leadership is fused across borders. This is not just brotherhood. This is fortress diplomacy. Germany returns to Mali. A complicated partnership now. Let's talk about the unexpected. Germany. Yes, the same Germany that quietly withdrew its support after the military government took over Mali, has announced its return. Not with soldiers this time, but with development aid. To understand this move, you need to understand German strategy. Since 2013, Germany has invested hundreds of millions of euros in Mali, mostly in the form of infrastructure, education, agriculture and job creation projects. Their logic was simple. Give African youth real opportunities and they won't flee to Europe nor fall into the hands of extremist groups. It was smart. It was pragmatic, but it was also self-serving. When Mali's military government began drifting toward Russia and pushing back against UN interference, Berlin hit the brakes. Its troops left MINUSMA, the UN's peacekeeping force. Development work slowed, the relationship iced over. But now, with France expelled and the West's influence waning, Germany sees an opening again. Berlin wants back in, but on different terms. This time they insist on working through NGOs and independent channels rather than dealing directly with Mali's military-led government. It's a diplomatic dance. We'll help your people, but we won't endorse your regime. Mali, however, is not naive. They know every euro comes with expectations, with leverage. Still, for now, they're playing the game, because development is needed. The people need schools, roads, clean water, food security. And if Germany's euros can help achieve that, without strings that threaten sovereignty, so be it. Brotherhood in action. The fuel lifeline. Let's now take a look at an inspiring moment of regional solidarity. Northern Mali has been facing a crippling fuel shortage. Why? Because Algeria, once a key supplier, has shut its border after a diplomatic rift. Tensions exploded when Algerian forces shot down a Malian drone, claiming it had violated Algerian airspace. Mali insists the drone was within its own territory, hunting terrorists, some of whom allegedly find safe haven across the border. The result? Algeria cut off both legal and black market fuel flows. But Mali didn't panic. It called on its brother. Niger, rich in petroleum reserves, stepped up. An agreement was signed. Fuel will now flow from Niamey to northern Mali. A nation in crisis was rescued not by the West or the UN, but by its fellow Sahelian ally. That's what unity looks like. That's what self-reliance sounds like. The road ahead, dream or delusion? So here we are, watching three nations reshape. The rules. They've been vilified by international media, sanctioned, threatened, ridiculed, but still they rise. The question now is, will this confederation survive? Skeptics say no. They point to economic challenges, external pressure, internal tensions. But believers see something different, the beginning of a new African century. A century where African nations define their own path, speak with one voice, and lift each other up, not through slogans but through action. And now they've set the rules. No more backdoor diplomacy, no more fake brotherhoods, no more puppet strings. If you want to deal with Mali, Burkina Faso, or Niger, you must deal with the Confederation of the Sahel. Period. Call it rebellion. Call it a new dawn, call it whatever you like. Just don't call them weak, because united, they are stronger than ever.